And now we move to the Nintendo DS title, Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days, which runs parallel to the Chain of Memories and focuses on Roxas, the nobody that Sora inadvertently creates when he unlocks his heart close to the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. Very close to his birth, Roxas is found in Twilight Town by Xemnas, the leader of Organization 13, and is inducted as a member, following which he is placed under the tutelage of Axel, another member of the organization. As Roxas is sent out on missions for the organization with Axel, the two develop a friendship and start spending more and more time with each other even while they're not on missions for the organization. Meanwhile, not long after Roxas's induction, the organization welcomes another new member into its ranks, named Xion, a mysterious girl who can also wield a Keyblade, and curiously enough, has a different appearance to each person depending on what her relationship is like with them. Soon afterward, several Organization 13 members are assigned to Castle Oblivion right as the events of Chain of Memories kick off, with Axel being one of them, and Roxas and Xion, who are not among those members, are paired together in Twilight Town. The two also grow closer, developing a friendship, and slowly but surely, Xion opening up to Roxas, also revealing that she bears a physical resemblance to Kairi. A few weeks pass as the pair's friendship grows deeper, but soon afterward, Roxas falls into a coma under mysterious circumstances. This happens because of what's happening with Sora in Castle Oblivion at the same time. Sora, having lost his memories after the events of Chain of Memories, has been put into a pod for their restoration, and Roxas, being Sora's nobody, has been affected by this as well, which causes him to fall into a coma. By the time he wakes up, he finds that weird things are happening to him, as he begins seeing memories that are Sora's and do not belong to him. By this time, Axel has also returned from Castle Oblivion, being the only survivor of the Organization 13 members who were sent there. Over the course of the following days and weeks, Roxas, Axel, and Xion start spending time together and develop a bond with each other. While all of this has been going on, Naminé, Riku, and Diz have moved the still unconscious Sora from Castle Oblivion and taken him to Twilight Town, where Riku is dispatched by Diz to retrieve Roxas and Xion for the purpose of the restoration of Sora's memories. Riku and Xion, as such, eventually come face to face, where Riku plants the seed in Xion's mind that her true identity and her origins are being kept a secret by the organization, and perhaps she'd be better served if she defected. Following this, doubt begins creeping into Xion's mind, and she begins wondering if there is any truth to Riku's words, while at the same time Roxas, too, has been having troubled thoughts about his own origins and existence, prompted by the memories of Sora that he keeps on seeing that he has no recollections of himself. Soon, it turns out that Xion's own misgivings about Organization 13 were well-founded, but we already knew that, didn't we? As she finds out just where exactly she came from. As it turns out, Xion is a copy of Sora created by Xemnas, who used Sora's leaking memories to create her as a failsafe for his machinations in case his plans for Sora don't succeed. The only reason she looks like Kairi is because of Sora's strong memories and feelings of her. Upon learning the truth, Xion is understandably confused and wanting to shed her existence as nothing more than a clone and desiring to become her own person. She leaves Organization 13 and sets out on her own. When Roxas learns of Xion's true identity, he too begins to question the motives of Organization 13, and for many similar reasons he defects as well, which causes him to having a falling out with Axel. During the same time, Xion is recaptured by Organization 13, and Xemnas reprograms her and commands her to absorb Roxas entirely, thus becoming the perfect replica of Sora. Things soon come to a head as Roxas and the reprogrammed Xion come face to face in Twilight Town. The two engage in a battle, and Roxas is ultimately able to defeat his former friend. After she loses, Xion's body starts crystallizing, and with her final breaths, she pleads with Roxas to put a stop to Xemnas' plans. With that, her body dissipates completely and merges back with the still unconscious Sora, leaving behind nothing but her own Keyblade, which Roxas goes on to wield himself, as such becoming a wielder of not one, but 2 Keyblades. During this time, Riku has been dispatched by Diz to capture Roxas, so that he can be merged back with Sora in order to complete the restoration of his memories. In 358 over 2's climactic battle, Roxas and Riku square off against each other, and just as Riku is about to lose to Roxas, he taps into the darkness of his heart, true to his vow to use both sides of his powers at the end of Chain of Memories, and temporarily takes on the form of Bad Ansem, who still resides within Riku's heart. Riku is thus able to defeat Roxas, following which he brings him to Diz. And what does Diz do with Roxas? He He digitizes him, alters his memory so that he has no recollection of Organization 13 or ever having been a part of it, and places him into a virtual simulation of Twilight Town so that he can live out his life there before he's merged back with Sora. And now, we move on to Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 begins pretty much exactly where 358 over 2 days ends. Sora is in his memory pod, while Roxas is obliviously living out his life in the digital simulation of Twilight Town, without any memories of the events of the Nintendo DS title. As Kingdom Hearts 2 begins, the digital recreation of Twilight Town is invaded by a group of Organization 13 members, led by Axel, who wants to retrieve Roxas. In the simulation, Roxas has no memories of Axel, as we already discussed, and using his Keyblade, he manages to fend them off, believing them to be a threat to Twilight Town. Roxas then encounters Naminé, who takes him to the basement of an abandoned mansion where he meets Diz and sees the unconscious Sora. Roxas finally merges with Sora, and after about a year of being unconscious, Sora awakens, reuniting with his friends Donald and Goofy. True to what Naminé told them before Sora went into the pod though, they have no recollection of what happened in Castle Oblivion during the events of Chain of Memories. Soon, Sora, Donald, and Goofy resumed their journey once again, and after meeting with King Mickey and Yensid, a powerful sorcerer and a retired Keyblade master who also trained King Mickey long ago, they learn about their next objective. As always, they have to travel to various worlds, where they must, as always, fight against the Heartless and make sure they don't destroy those worlds, while they also have to put a stop to Organization 13, who've become much more active and have been causing an increasing amount of trouble across a number of worlds. Much of the game following that sees the trio traveling to a number of new worlds and running into many Disney characters, while Sora also grows increasingly confident of the fact that Riku is still out there somewhere. Along their journey, they learn many things. For starters, the truth about evil Ansem being a Heartless of Xenohort, and Xemnas being his nobody, on top of the fact that Xenohort himself used to be an apprentice of the real Ansem a long time ago. More importantly, they also learn about the ultimate aim of Organization 13. The group of nobodies, as it turns out, wants to create a new Kingdom Hearts, which it can then use to restore their hearts and become complete entire entities rather than just being nobodies. Throughout the game, Sora, Donald, and Goofy run into many members of Organization 13, and one by one, all of them are defeated. Until by the very end, Xemnas is left as the last remaining member of the organization. In order to put an end to the organization and Xemnas' machinations once and for all, Sora, Goofy, and Donald traveled to a place called the World with No Name, which is where the organization's headquarters are situated. Here, several paths collide. Sora, Donald, and Goofy run into Mickey, Diz, and Xemnas, where it is finally revealed that Diz is the real Ansem, whose identity was stolen by Xenohort's Heartless years ago. But we'll just keep calling him Diz for now, for convenience's sake. It is also revealed that Xemnas' true aim was to use the efforts of Organization 13 to use the power of Kingdom Hearts to reshape the world in his own image, much like what Xenohort had intended years ago. He is, after all, his nobody. Riku, who is also at the organization's headquarters, seems to have fully taken on the form of Ansem the Evil. Diz, the real Ansem, then reveals what he intends to do about the new Kingdom Hearts created by Xemnas. He plans on using a device known as the Kingdom Hearts Encoder to dissipate the power of Kingdom Hearts, and he almost succeeds. Midway through the process, the encoder overloads and explodes. Diz is caught in the explosion, believed to be dead, while the explosion also calls Riku to return to his true original form. And here, the final climactic battle against Xemnas begins. Sora, with the help of Riku and his other friends, fights against Xemnas, who uses the power of his Kingdom Hearts to take on various powerful forms. But ultimately, Sora and Riku manage to defeat him once and for all. After a convoluted series of world hopping and whatnot, Sora and Riku are returned to Destiny Island, where they finally reunite with Kairi, for the first time since the final events of Kingdom Hearts 1. And though things seem to have finally calmed down, as you may have imagined, that's not really the case. Sometime later, Sora, Riku, and Kairi receive a letter from King Mickey, summoning them for a purpose that leads directly into Kingdom Hearts' Dream Drop Distance.
And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.